What's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Hope you all have had a great Thursday as we're getting our way to our Friday. There's some things to talk about. We're going to break down some potential severe weather in areas of the Mid-South and Ohio Valley. I am not anticipating a huge outbreak of storms, but it is worth talking about that there is a decent chance of maybe an isolated tornado or two somewhere, maybe in Tennessee, Kentucky, Ohio. So we're going to break that down in this video and talk about the highest chances for the certain areas in this event tomorrow. As our cold front will be approaching, there's a surface low that's going to be riding the boundary of the cold front and is going to promote some severe weather. So that's what we're going to break down for you guys, and we're going to also give you all a brief, very brief update on the cold front itself and take a look ahead on is there any big time storms to talk about. I'm not talking about the tropics, just talking about big storms in general. As we look a little bit deeper on the GFS. I'm not going to keep you all long. It's going to be a quick video. Nothing crazy to talk about. If you guys have not subscribed, definitely hit the subscribe button. Like the video if you like it. Thank y'all for the amazing support, and appreciate everything. So let's get going here. So first off, we'll look at this. What's going on here is as we move our way into overnight, into Friday morning, you notice this blue and you notice the red. The red is ridging. And the blue is trough, which is a cold front. You notice this cold front's moving through. As it's getting into around this area, there's going to be an area right here that's going to promote a severe weather threat. This cold front will move, and the pattern will switch. You notice big time ridging. The jet stream shifts more north, and it's digging more south to the east, more north to the west. So the pattern shifts. How long this pattern shift occurs still needs to be ironed out, but we'll figure that out, especially over the weekend. But cold front moves through and so forth, and we get into early next week. But you notice big time area of a slight risk tomorrow, stretching from areas, extreme areas of northeast Arkansas, a very small area of Missouri, southeast Missouri, going through a chunk of a western Tennessee, Kentucky, even areas of Indiana, and then screeching through areas of Ohio. And if you look at the tornado threat, there's a 5% chance. This was a much larger area, but it's kind of singled out two areas that's going to have a heightened tornado threat. That's a 5% chance of tornado occurring of 25 miles at any given location in this 5% chance area. There's a 2% chance around the areas also, but really the area of concern really sits in Ohio as the and then areas of Tennessee and Kentucky. Sorry, I lost my train of thought briefly. There's also wind threats as this system does eventually go what you call linear, which turns to a line of storms, and you'll just have the chance for damaging straight line wind gust. I do not think it's going to be quite similar like the event that happened in Oklahoma. I don't think there's going to be a lot of discrete supercells with this. I think it's going to be more of a broken up line with some hook echoes and some of these storms. And anything that fires up before the main line definitely has the higher chance to become a supercell, which is a rotating thunderstorm. So moving forward, what we'll do here, let's actually go a little bit more south. We'll take a look at the more southern section of this threat here in Tennessee and areas of Kentucky. Moving forward into overnight, we're getting into tomorrow morning. There'll be an area. It'll be interesting to see what this area of convection early in the morning in areas of western Tennessee and Kentucky does to basically help maybe not necessarily destabilize the atmosphere, but stabilize the atmosphere a little bit and keep it that way before the more destabilization kind of occurs a little bit later in the day. I'm losing my train of thought a lot in this video, sorry guys. But here we go. We get into a little around early afternoon hours. Even areas in northern Mississippi and Alabama, you notice these storms have a little bit of a hook to them. They're kind of going like this. That tells me that there is going to be, that is a classic look of a supercell or rotating updraft. And I think we'll have a lot of rotating updrafts tomorrow. Whether they make contact to the ground and officially be a tornado, that remains to be seen. But as we get later in the afternoon, got to watch out for all these storms, especially the ones entering Kentucky. And eventually, some more, the main energy along the cold front will move through and it'll just be more rain, and then the severe weather threat goes away. But if you jump up further north, you have to watch out for this area too. We're getting into Friday. Big chunk of energy will move through. There might be an area that has a tornado threat even earlier on in the day. That's the difference between this system and the ones that happened in the south central U.S. a couple days ago. This will probably occur earlier in the afternoon, early in the evening. I think by the time you get in the dark, the sun goes down, I think the threat of severe weather will pretty much be gone. But you get into the early afternoon, here comes these storms beginning to enter areas of Ohio. You got to watch out for all these storms. So Columbus up to Cleveland, Dayton, Ohio, down to Louisville, Kentucky, Lexington, Kentucky, then point south, and obviously got to watch out here. All these storms, but you notice there's nothing really isolated as far as you see a gigantic supercell anywhere. They're all kind of along a broken line of storms. So that's a good and bad thing, because it's a good thing because a lot of times the chances remain lower when you have a storm system like that. But it's a bad thing because a lot of times when you have a line of storms, these can sneak up on you quick, or sometimes they're even embedded in rain, so you don't really see them coming. So we'll continue to watch out for that. As far as the cold front, it's still coming. Nothing has changed and nothing will change. These are dew points, and as it swoops through, you notice all the dry air. This is not temperatures. Getting into Saturday morning, cold front's progressing very well. We're getting into the afternoon Saturday. The cold front's already crossed the majority of Tennessee, large chunk of Alabama. And then the afternoon hours, it swooshes through the rest of Georgia, the Carolinas, Virginia, areas of Florida, and this makes it all the way by the time you get into Sunday afternoon into Central Florida, and even all the way to Miami. I know you guys in Miami, dew points, in the 60s are pretty low. Or that's a real break in the humidity down there, as opposed to 50s and 40s is a nice break, considering here in Carolinas. But definitely a nice cold front coming. What happens next week is a big question, as it looks like the atmosphere kind of moisturizes again, and a little bit more moisture moves more north. But then maybe a reinforcing shot of another cold front, and maybe much more cold air brings in, or dry air comes in, and a much more powerful cold front locks in as we get into our last week of October. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. As far as what's going on weather-wise, I'll back it up here. We're getting to next week, midway next week. We're getting to late next week. We're getting pretty far out now. It shows an interesting system for next weekend. I'm going to be watching. This is a classic coastal low being kind of suppressed south by a big-time cold front. This is almost a nice winter storm setup for areas of the south, but obviously we're in October. That's not going to occur, but a very interesting storm. So we'll have to watch to see if that trends. It continues to show up is basically what I'm saying, and if it does, and it's something or a big-time storm system we need to watch out maybe for next weekend, into early, not this coming week, but next week after that. But that's pretty far out. So, excuse me. That's pretty much all I got. There's not anything crazy to talk about. The tropics remain quiet. Nothing worth mentioning. But thank you all for the amazing support, and I'll try to get y'all an update tomorrow on what is going on. Y'all have a blessed night, and thank y'all for everything.